No one has the balls to stand up like I'm doing right now. Let's stop the crap already. We're all Americans. We're all equal. I don't see black. I don't see Asian. I don't see anything but American.
Welcome to Bo Dietl's One Tough Podcast. Joining me today, I hope, is the next mayor of New York City. He's a friend of mine about 40 years or more. And I'm the guy that put up the reward when his friend John Gotti's people shot him. And I put the $10,000 reward. I'm glad that guy didn't do any headshots. And I'm glad you're with us today, Curtis. And I'm very, very proud of you and what you're doing. And I know what kind of mayor you'll make in this city. And when I ask people, when I was out in Montauk on a big yacht boat, and I said to them, what's your biggest concern? They all have Fifth Avenue, Park Avenue. What's your biggest concern? Everyone says public safety and supporting the police. I said, well, let's look at the candidates. You got Mundummy, he wants to defund it. Then you got Eric Adams, the criminal, $7 billion worth of funds there for the migrants, $12 million a week for the Roosevelt Hotel. Half the toilets didn't even work, but we were paying $12 million. What was that, $600 million a year for the broken down Roosevelt Hotel? Yep. No bid, security, all these things. Criminal. Okay. We don't want him. We don't want the other guy. They got to get bail reform. We're still suffering from it. Yep. Cop killers, everyone. I mean, there's no more cop killers. Let them all out. Look they all had their shots. This other guy couldn't run a Kool-Aid stand. This Mundummy. He wants to run a $116 billion. You know, a lot of people don't know about the budget of New York City is, I think, $116 billion right now. A decade ago, it wasn't no more than, I think, $65 billion. Correct. It's almost doubled in the last 10 years when you got the likes of Big Bird, jerk off, Big Bird. That's right, Big Bird, de Blasio. Now we have this other guy with all his criminals. He reminds me of Robin Hood with the 40 Thieves. The 40 Thieves all left, but Robin Hood's still there. But Shaggy said it wasn't me. Somebody was shaking down all that. Where did that $7 billion go, Curtis?
Well, let's look at his friends that he all elevated into high places. Eric Adams didn't pick the best people for the job. He picked the most crooked friends of his. Timothy Pearson, number one, who has now, I think, 5 different sexual harassment cases against him towards the end before he exited stage right. He couldn't have a meeting with a female in the city administration without a monitor being with him. Now, what does that say about the guy? And he always wanted a kickback. You know, he would say he would sign the contracts for all these migrant centers. And then he would say, and what? All I'm left with is crumbs.
20% back.
Which is like when Pococco was the leg breaker for Cuomo, he would say, where's my ziti? Yeah. So this is code language for where's my money? I just signed a contract for you. Is it going to be 10%, 15%? I need to put my beak in the trough.
Eric Adams has some very poor work ethics of hiring people, unless he's a lot smarter, we know, because you know what the Gambino family, what did they do? The Capos do. They kick it up.
Yep.
So remember in January when I ran into him in Washington during the inauguration when he was kissing the ring of the president. They wrote it, I think, 4 o'clock in the morning. Shell and the other guy there.
Kaz Daughtry.
And they all
Drone man.
They ran down there to kiss his ring and get the pardon. Right after that pardon, what happened? The Banks brothers, the guy that was running the Board of Ed, couldn't run a kindergarten class.
Fled.
And they ran in. And then the other Banks, who was in charge of Deputy Mayor Public Safety or whatever the hell it was, every one of them all did the moonwalk. And they got out. Why? He told them, get out of this way. I could say, maybe I hired the wrong. Yeah, you hired the wrong people. Everybody you hired. And look at your other guy there, that big heavy-set guy, the chief of the police department.
Oh, Jeffrey Madrick.
Oh yeah, they had to take sections of the carpet out in the commissioner's in the police chief's office. And then that one woman there that he was banging Tatum. What she get, a year's salary or some kind of thing? Overtime.
She had more overtime than any other police officer in the history of the department.
And he was banging Tatum.
And basically, he would say to the women, I give you all the overtime you want. You just have to pleasurize me. And this guy looked like Jabba the Hutt.
Oh, I know.
I mean, God.
He was,
look under the dictionary, ugly, and that's Jeffrey Madrick.
All I know is one thing. you got to say one thing is, it can't be all the same thing. Everyone. Then my eyes saw someone pop up the other day when I went like undercover a little bit to one of his fundraisers. I didn't give him no money, but I had to check blank in my pocket just in case I got caught. So it was all the real estate people were there, and who was there? Who was that young lady who was collecting all his money?
Oh.
And she got, remember?
Biggs, Braggs.
No, Britannia.
You mean Winnie Greco?
No,
for the Chinese?
Brittany or Britannia.
Yeah.
Whatever
the
hell.
first one who had her home rated in Crown
That's
Heights.
the one.
Yes.
So she was there.
Yes.
So in other words, he wants to run. He wants us to believe I'm not going to be involved. Then I tell you what, Mayor Eric Adams, you want to run for mayor? You're bringing still the 40 thieves back? I don't think I even want to consider you. If you don't have an act of contrition and apologize for all the thievery that was done during your watch, then you know what? People should. That's what I think the polls are coming out. We just had another poll, and I got to congratulate you. I just read that you got your matching funds. How much is that?
Yeah, $1.9 million.
Matching.
We raised more than Zorhan, the magnificent Mandami. Remember, they say, he's a juggernaut. He's a fundraising machine.
How much did Eric Adams get in matching funds?
Nothing.
Whoa. How much did Governor?
Nothing.
They didn't get.
That's it. It's sort of like they're running in name only.
But you know what it is? They have the audacity, including our former governor, that I don't like with the bail reform, because there are a lot of dead people out there because of this bail reform. And a lot of these cop killers that I knew, a lot of these cops that were killed, my heart goes out for their families. And you want to know something? The finger points. And I'm not getting into this thing with the COVID and the nursing homes. I'm talking about cop killers and bail reform. That's why I don't like that guy.
Well,
so wait a second. They got Eric the thief.
Right.
You got the governor.
The creep
who lets everyone go. Hey, that's Italian.
Well, remember.
You grab a little. Grab a little.
He
butt.
was slapping fannies and killing grannies.
So you got him to pick from. Then you got Mundummy.
The commie.
But Mundummy can't run a Kool-Aid stand.
Right.
And now he wants to be the mayor. And I always ask Eddie, most important thing is one person. Curtis Sliwa. You believe in your whole life you were out there to protect the people of New York. Everyone says to me, Curtis Sliwa, he can't win. I says, slow down. I said, I know Curtis very well. And when you said to me, Bo, I'll make you the police commissioner, what did I say to you? No, you won't. I said, you know what I'll be there for, Curtis? To help you hire the best. I talked to Joel Klein the other day.
Yes.
I ran into him at a restaurant, great chancellor of our education. I said, Joel, if my friend Curtis Sliwa wins as mayor, will you help me find a chancellor that ain't going to take money and that's going to educate our kids? And that's what I want to do. I want people to know when they listen to this podcast, you are wide open for business people, people that know about financing, people that can't be corrupted. And I like people who have a couple of buckaroos in their pocket. It ain't a bad thing. So when they take the job, I have to get them in a back room. I'll be your consigliere.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I'll get them in the back room. I'm going to say, first of all, I want to see your financials.
Yes.
I want to make sure you got a lot of cash because you ain't coming into this job to get rich. Exactly. You're coming in this because you love your mayor. Hopefully it's you. Yeah. You love your mayor and you want to help this city that we love. That's the criteria. And you got money because I tell you what, I'll be your enforcer in the background. I don't need no title. You just call like Luca Brazzi. If we have a hinkard, if we got a hinkard, one of these guys that you have in there are taking money, I'll take care of that.
I got a wrecking crew. It's called Bo Dito and Chuck Zito. That is the scariest man alive, Chuck Zito.
Well,
you ain't getting out of a room when Chuck Zito traps you.
So what we'll do is we'll let them know before they get a job with you is you have to go through an interview with me and Chuck, and we'll just tell them we do know where you live, we know where your family is, and the reality is you want the job. We want the best of breed that's going to take that job.
Well, in all the people that I know, all over this city, I've grown up with so many people. Generally, once a man or a woman is retired and they have enough of what they need in their children and grandchildren, they're not looking to put their beak in the trough anymore. No. They're starting to say, what can I give back? I grew up in this city. It was good for me. It was good for my children. Now it's not so good anymore. What can I do to get it back on track? Those will be your best producers.
Of course.
Because
they're taking the job because, like you and I,
love this city.
we love this
That's
city.
right.
And you know how much I love this city.
right.
I dread, my blood was on the street.
Look, Lee, the other day in the Hamptons, and by the way, they're now inviting me to the Hamptons to
Oh.
talk to all the shot callers because they realize as hedge fund guys, they put all their chips on Cuomo, who abandoned them and now is saying, oh, if Zorhan wins, I'm down in Florida. Wow, I really got a lot of faith in this guy. And then on the rebound, and you've always been told in a relationship, don't quickly go on the rebound. They rebounded to the crook, Eric Adams.
Yeah.
They're throwing him money. And by the way, that money is not going to go to the campaign. I can almost guarantee you $1 for the campaign, $1 for my cronies. They're all back. They were all putting their beak in
and the biggest thief, and I'll tell him right to his face, should have been indicted. Corone, he's back.
Oh, my God. He's a character right out of Goodfellas.
Yeah.
So you hear about this guy, you don't know anything about
Yeah,
him.
you know, now he's in Italy. But hold on. When he came back in, that's one of the 40 thieves. All of a sudden, he did a year. He made all the money he can, all the deals and all that. That's right. I said it, okay? You got a problem with that, Mr. Corone? You tell me to my face, okay? And you know me. I am not no punk that you're talking down.
And by the way, he grew up in Canarsie,
Yeah.
went through the Thomas Jefferson Democratic Club that has graduated all the crooked Democrats. And he has always been a bagman. Now he'll say, I was there for Eric when nobody was there
Yeah.
for him. I'm there again for Eric.
Yeah.
Okay, but is it because you want to help the city or is it because you're getting your taste?
Just stay right on him.
little taste.
Why? He was the chief of staff for 1 year. Why only 1 year there, Mr. Corone? You know why? Establish the gravitation. That's exactly why you went in there. Then when you left, you opened up your consultant firm. Where did you have access? To Eric Adams. Are we that stupid, Mr. Mayor? Oh, I'm sorry for calling you Mr.
That's
Mayor.
the Canarsie way.
Yeah.
Remember, you know Canarsie.
And also,
I know
hold on,
Canarsie.
one more thing. I'm looking at your red beret.
Yes,
Listen, I love it.
yes.
And we'll tell the story. I didn't even recognize you after 40 years.
And not
but
only you.
Superman don't take his cape or his uniform off. And as far as I'm concerned, hat means ugats. You know what ugats means?
Of course.
So it means
Depends
nothing.
on which dialect you speak.
And
I
you-
speak Badage.
And hold on, and you exactly are like me. You ain't got too much hair on your head.
No.
So it makes no difference. I think you look kind of very nice with it. And you want to know something? If the other guy could wear, who was the guy? Che Guevara.
Yes,
Remember?
Che Guevara.
This
That's
Mondami.
Zorhan Mondami.
Mondami should wear Che Guevara's
Yeah,
hat.
yeah, yeah.
We'll have a hat off, all right? So tell the story. So we're at Bernie Kerrick's funeral over in
Yeah, the
Patterson.
cathedral. Bernie is was born and raised in Patterson.
Our former police commissioner, great
Right, grew up in the projects.
Yeah.
He went to Patterson Eastside High School before there was Joe Clark, when it was
Yeah.
crazy. So he loved Patterson. So they do the wake there in the cathedral. Now, the rule in the Catholic Church, I already knew the drill. Curtis, you got to take your beret off. I take my beret off, I'm sitting there. Bo passes me 3 times. He
I
has
started
no
talking.
idea.
I was talking to you, and then you go, oh, it's me. And I'm
Right. You.
Yeah.
Joe Loder, who ran for mayor in 2013.
Rudy Giuliani.
Rudy Giuliani, my kumbari cheech. They passed me by. Everyone else didn't know who I was. Finally, I said to Bo, it's me. And you were like stunned.
But you know the problem I have? You're so recognizable with
Yeah.
it. When you go into the Black, Hispanic, Asian communities and Jewish community,
Yeah.
everyone knows you. Why take the identity away? Everybody argues with you. He doesn't look professional. He doesn't know how to run a city. Well, here, ladies and gentlemen, very simple.
Yeah.
He doesn't have doctorate degrees like these criminals had and all that. Right now, he loves the city. And what you'll do, I'm sure you're going to do, please, I want to be one of your advisors.
Sure.
I don't need no money. I want to be one of your advisors.
Yeah.
But we'll pick the best of the best
Of
people
course.
to make this city run like a flying duck. I told the mayor, Mayor Eric Adams, 2 years in a row, you know, have this charter revision, New York City charter revision thing. I testified before that, and I said, why don't we put on the November election to stop New York City from being a sanctuary city?
Yes.
And why don't we put on there to take the power from the city council on our police officers who they're diminishing the hell out of? That's why nobody wants to go on. A headlock, diaphragm law, this, sue him personally. Why don't we take that power, give it to you, Mr. Mayor, because you're an ex-cop that made 4 arrests. How many arrests did he make?
He's a house mouse.
I
Who wore a bulletproof vest? If I have to hear that story one more time, I put a bulletproof vest on for 22 years. Eric, I never put on a bulletproof vest. It doesn't make you a man.
No. Let me talk to cop.
Yeah.
Eric, 4 arrests, 5 arrests. I should make that every night. So hospitalized 30 times, blood on the ground. Eric, fractured skull, broken shoulder. Eric, you're a real tough cop.
But,
I'm the one tough cop. You know what? This is a man that put his life on the line. He didn't have a gun. He didn't have a badge. And he was protecting our city. And I tell you what, if my daughter was riding on a subway car, and all of a sudden some creeps come up there, and I saw Mr. Curtis Sliwa sitting in that subway car, I would say, thank God for Curtis Sliwa. Let's pay Curtis Sliwa back, and let's show him that he loved New York when it was in his style, and he still loves New York. And if he becomes the mayor, I will guarantee you, I will help him with all my heart to pick the best people around him. And we're not going to do none of your brother-in-laws, this Don Chicho over there. We're going to get the best people.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, again, with that city charter revision, all he had to do is put it on the vote.
And let the people decide.
I think the people of New York City
would have voted it down.
All of them would have voted us not being a sanctuary city.
Especially the African-American constituency who put him in office. He knew that. He wanted it to stay a sanctuary city to get all those no-bid contracts to do the kickbacks to all of his cronies. That's why he wants a sanctuary city, because if there's no sanctuary city, there's no big contracts, no kickbacks.
Hold on, Curtis Sliwa, hold on. $7 billion
Our money.
Of no bid. And you know my history with that when his two criminals came to me.
Yep.
And when I told him, he goes, I don't know what you're talking about, Bo. I said, well, you're the mayor. You should know what I'm talking about. That was just the tip of the iceberg. I say, and let me where is this thing that the head of the Attorney General, New York State, that looks like a horse a little bit? What's her name there?
Tish James.
Yeah. Where is she asking questions? Or that other little jerk off, that controller there, Brad Lander, you did such a great job. Why didn't you look at $7 billion is a lot of money.
Yep.
Means you're just having 10% of that?
And then he said there wasn't enough money to put back into the police budget, the $1 billion that de Blasio took out. Come on. $7 billion for people we don't even know, illegals. And you couldn't put $1 billion back for the police that you claim you're there to support. Come on.
That's a damn.
But there could be no kickbacks with that $1 billion you put back for the police.
Yeah, but you especially when you're billing 3 times the amount of going rate on security, and then kick back 20% to a consultant firm in Texas.
And
holy
Bo,
buckle.
because you and I, we grew up with wise guys. We know that it just doesn't stop at the mid-level.
Yep.
You got to kick upstairs.
And on top of it, the diminishment of our police department is horrific for me to see what's going on. And even the caliber is just nobody wants to take the job. They don't want to. They want to start a cop with $40,000, $42,000 a year, and he's married with a kid. No wonder they have to work. No wonder that poor kid was working overtime that got killed.
Can you imagine? Bo had a reputation of don't mess with Bo. He'd be out there. He would get his man. If you had to operate under the rules and regulations now with no qualified immunity, that means you could be sued, Bo. You lose your house, you lose your mortgage, you lose everything. How does a cop physically intervene now knowing the city does not have his back, but the city protects Eric Adams, protects everybody else.
And all these jived up numbers.
Yes.
Crime jived up.
Oh, come on.
You know what it's all about? The cops are just driving by. They're not proacting because they don't want to get involved, because they don't want to lose their job, their pension. Then they could go after their home on Long Island or wherever they live. And I don't blame them. And that's why it's gone down so much. And then when you're looking at your superior officers with this and that and all that, wonder the guts, heart, and soul has been ripped out of this great police department. And can I call you Mr. Mayor for a second?
Of course you can.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, when you become the mayor, we have to do something about it. We have to bring the greatness of the police department back,
absolutely.
which we were recognized around the world. How about our detectives? We used to have almost 8,000. They're down to 4,000.
Oh,
4,000. And how about the officers that are on the job, wanting to do the job? Now I think we're under 30, 1,550 put in retirement up to July 1st. We can lose another 3,000. But my problem, again, is nobody's coming on. Nobody's replacing them. And 65% of the police officers are non-white. 65%. So when you call them racist, Mondummy, and when you call the police department racist, that means you're calling the blacks, Hispanics, even your own people from Uganda, and that he came back special too, if you notice. He wasn't supposed to come back that quick.
No.
Mondummy. When he heard it was a Muslim officer that got killed, he shot back here. He left, he had security guards there, over there.
Yeah, with AK-47s and mass.
He idolizes
Idi Amin.
Dada. Idi Amin, Dada. That's
That Eric Adams said, I had a wonderful dinner with Zorhan and his father. I was fascinated about Idi Amin, who used to be a cannibal.
He used to eat people, you fool.
And feed his enemies to crocodiles in the Nile.
And then all my Jewish friends, these psychopaths.
Oh, he hated Jews.
He threw them out of Uganda, every Jew out of Uganda. Now you want to vote for me. Did you see these numbers in the primary of Jewish New Yorkers?
Yes.
What was the number?
Well,
like 45%?
The Jews were complaining about Zorhan Mandami, and they were talking about, something needs to be done. You need to educate your own children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren. Don't put them on a blind trust, where you pay for everything, their college, you pay for their apartment. You sit them down and say, no more money if you're going to go out and support Zorhan Mandami. You got to teach them what it means to be a Jew, because if you're going to fund these kids and then they're going to go out and stab you in the back and go out and actively recruit for Zorhan Mandami and vote for an anti-Semite, shame on you. You might as well take a menorah and impale yourself, because that's what this is.
I mean, people don't realize where we're going. All I say is, let's look at Europe. Let's look at London. There's 4 million Muslims in England.
Yeah.
There's 60 million other than the 4 million. But they control 60 of the major cities, including London. Totally horrific. And you know yourself how far we've gone down. All these services in this city, from Big Bird de Blasio and Eric Adams, go take a ride to Kennedy Airport. Slums, dirt, garbage, all these streets of New York City. I've never seen anything like that. All the service went down. You know why? Because people were just ripping and robbing. And you want to know something? No one's getting awarded. Even our teachers that want to work hard. Now we're paying for teachers in rubber rooms who sexually assaulted somebody. Criminals, keep them on the payroll. Get them off the payroll. I mean, you got to get your ball bag up, get rid of the garbage, and the ones that are working hard, teachers and all that, reward them.
Well, the one thing, Bo, because in all the neighborhoods, right, where the Dominicans used to have the bodegas, the Yemenites have come in. They work hard. They supported Trump. They wear MAGA. But you see, when you attack their religion and you attack their culture, you almost push them towards Zorhan. They don't agree with Zorhan. They're the most conservative people. Yeah. More conservative than you and me combined. Yeah. Pakistanis, Bangladeshis, Albanians.
Well, look
80%
at my
of the Albanians are Muslim. They're not Christian, only 20%.
But they're good family people. They work hard. They were in every restaurant. They work hard. But look at even our own neighborhood there, Ozone Park, Richmond Hill. I mean, it's all it used to be Italian, German, Irish. Now all of a sudden you have temples all over. Yeah, you have good, hard-working people. And you want to know something? That's what it's all about. You want the best things for your kids. I just heard one of our producers here before we sat down, and she had a great idea and objective. Because today, kids, all they do is look at that moron box. Yeah. They don't know anything else. But a great thing would be, and I support it 100%, when a kid's 18 years old, gets out of high school, don't know what the hell they're going to do, let them go into the military for at least 2 years. Then they get the advantage of the VA benefits on that thing. They get education. And then you know what? They're not looking at their moron phone for the next 2 years about kiki-taki, wuka-daki, who's doing this, Right now, we have a diminished youth because all they are is being psychopathic by these instruments, including my kids. I said, what the hell are you on these phones so much? Because you know what? The values have gone down. And when the values go down, they see an idiot like Mondummy promising free this, free food, free bus. But who's paying for it, Mondummy?
Bo, this gives me a good belly laugh. So Zorhan Mandami says free bus fare, and I laugh. Half the people don't pay anyway. We're halfway there. I do enforcement. I would have the police do enforcement. 1/3 of the people don't pay their subway fare. So we're already moving in that direction. So people are getting all bent out of shape long before Zorhan Mandami. De Blasio, Cuomo, and Adams destroyed this city. if Zohan Mandami is elected mayor, he's just going to push us over the edge. You can't vote for the Democrats. They've allowed the socialists to take over their
what?
party.
All we have to do is look at California.
Yep.
You look at the state run by that moron Newsom. Then you look at Los Angeles, San Francisco, and you'll go to the other socialist there in Chicago.
Illinois.
Chicago. And let's realize one thing. Curtis, you know what? I'm so proud of you doing this show with me today, but you've got to get out there. You know, I'm 74 years old. My life has been in New York. You know, you're the only guy that could save this city.
Yeah.
And I really mean that because you got Dumb, and Mandami. So this is what we got to run against. Please, and people, send whatever you got to send to Curtis because he can win. This ain't a thing where, Curtis can't win. Baloney. Curtis can win. He'll make a great man. I promise you one thing. If he becomes the mayor, I will, every drop of energy I have, I will help him get the best people around because you're only as good as the people around you.
And if you want to help, just go to sliwafornyc.com, sliwafornyc.com. Bo put together the very first fundraiser I had with some very influential people who grew up just like you did, Bo, and I did in the streets, and we talked issues. And that launched my campaign when everybody said, you don't have a chance, Sliwa. Now the polls indicate the only one surging is Sliwa.
And why? Because you're the only one that has integrity.
Yep.
You have honesty, and you care about every New Yorker. And people, if you want New York to turn around, this is the guy that will turn around. As far as the other three stooges over there, including Mandami, we're going to go into the toilet bowl. That's it. Curtis,
thank you, Bo. Thanks for your support.
And keep fighting on, man.
You know me. I'm a fighter.
All right, thank you.
No surrender, no retreat.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Tune in next week, and I'll do a promo. Hey, everybody. Tune in to Bo Dietl's One Tough Pod.
Again.
Hey, everybody. Tune in to Bo Dietl's One Tough Podcast. This week I hopefully, I like him so much, I know him 40 years, the next mayor. And he can win. And hopefully he will win as mayor of New York. You'll hear about the real issues facing all of New York and why he can be a great mayor for New York and surround himself by the best. And that's what he'll do. Tune in.